Good evening everyone and welcome along to FRL. We are here for F1 Season 12 Round 19 of the Championship as we've taken the American Grand Prix from the Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas. No, my name is not FRL_Ballboy57. I'm James Head. I'm going to be taking you through the stream here tonight and indeed for the final 4 rounds of the Championship as your lead commentator. And joining me in the commentary box, a man who you have came to know very well along the last few weeks, it is Mr. Ilar Bunty. Bunty, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Looking forward to commentate for the hopefully first of many.
Hopefully the first of many indeed, and of course we come here to America. We are just moments away from qualifying actually beginning out on track. 19 drivers currently within the lobby, which is good to see. I have got to make my way though to the championship standings, and of course Jensen wrapped up the championship standings well ago, even before I joined back here in FRL. Used to be a commentator here, by the way, if you want a little bit of background. About 2.5 years ago, that was my last ever stream, and now we're here once again, and it's good to see everyone tuning in. Of course, Jensen leading the championship though, 352 points. He has wrapped up that championship there. Massina is in second on 182, Petter in third on 171, and Rocco in fourth on 160. And Bunty, looking at that battle for second especially, Massina down to Rocco separated by 22 points. Which way could it go tonight coming into the race in America?
I mean, on pure form you'd probably speculate Massina, because he has had the upper hand over the likes of Pedavol and even Rocco, who's still in with a shout. But it's been very topsy-turvy between those three. I mean, Tyne at one stage, I think back in Hungary, was in P2 and not too far off Jensen, so it's really turned on its head for the bulk of P2.
Yeah, it has. And Massina, of course, former F1 Esports Challenger Series driver, and that's where you might know him from. Petter, of course, been a very quick driver as well. Rocco, I know from League of Europe. If you're wondering where I've commentated in the past, I commentate for League of Europe on a Saturday. And Rocco, in fourth position, 160 points. He is really a quick driver and should be one to watch here tonight. Time there in fifth on 132. Denzo in sixth on 128. Zero seventh on 118 points even for CPI. Sparkling in eighth on 104. Hide in ninth on 68. And Bear around off the top 10 on 64. Quickly though, before we get into qualifying, we'll get through the constructors. Alfa Romeo have got a chance to wrap up the constructors here tonight. 485 points. Ferrari in second on 323. Mercedes in third on 220. Alfa Romeo pretty much have got one hand on that championship though.
Yeah, I mean, Alfa Romeo have been by far the most consistent throughout the whole of the season. I mean, Zero and Jensen have just dominated throughout the whole of the season, and Ferrari have had moments where they have impressed, but generally I think on pure pace, especially with the likes of Jensen winning the championship, Alfa Romeo have been just strong throughout the whole of the 19 races, or 18 races we have had so far.
You've been told, by the way, by T-Hawk to turn up your mic a little bit in the comments.
Oh no. Oh no.
Coming across very quiet. That's where you get a booming voice like me and you get a quiet little soul like Bunty alongside me in the commentary box. Hopefully that mic quality will be higher now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a couple seconds.
No worries at all, as we are here out on track, and it is fantastic to see, of course, 19 drivers here. Plenty of names that I know from when I commentated back here, but quite a few names that I might have to try and pick your brains on, certainly, Bunty. Everyone looks like they're going to qualify on a set of soft compound tyres. I wouldn't be surprised, actually, if we do see a set of mediums out on track, of course, around here at the Circuit of the Americas. 5.4 kilometres and then 20 turns, quite a lot of elevation change, plenty of overtaking opportunities as well out on track. 2 DRS zones, one down the start-finish straight, one down in towards turn 12, plenty of opportunities down in towards turn 12 to see how that is going to unfold, of course, out on track. But we are a minute into qualifying. Nobody has gone out on track just yet, which makes me realise, I wonder if we've got a little bit of a timing glitch.
Yeah, as usually is the case. I think there's an McLaren, if I'm not mistaken, who's the first out on track. Oh no, it's a Renault. My eyesight is... it's not there.
It's not even any of those constructors that you've just mentioned.
No.
It's a Racing Point coming out on track first. It's Remco, who returns, of course, to the championship here in FRL F1. and he is here tonight, of course, hopefully going to be providing a really good show out on track. Speldenar, very big mouthful to say. If you're from the north of England like me, he's also out on track. Zero, Rocco and Jensen are also out on track. We'll see plenty of drivers now coming out. Remco's already invalidated on his lap, but what sort of lap time should we be seeing around here? 129 to 130 mark?
I mean, I know from F2, I think it was Macho set a 129.2, but Macho being in the top 100 almost on time trial is no pushover, so I think he's towards the top end of F1, but obviously he's not here as an F2 driver. So I reckon we will be hopefully dipping into the 128s, but that would be quite special if that did happen.
A special time for me because I'm back here in FRL, and I wonder if we are going to see those 128s out on track. I know for a fact some of these guys will probably sneak into the 128s, the likes of Jensen, the likes of Rocco, who are towards the top end of the field. Remco, though, we're going to ride you on board on a lap on the racing point, as Robin has just joined within qualifying. Remco now coming through the final two corners, through turn 19 on the uphill running towards turn 20, and now with the sun glinting in the driver's eye, comes out of the final corner, opens up that DRS, and now takes on the 5.4 kilometre circuit here at Austin, Texas, and Remco now runs up in towards turn number 1. A very big change in elevation running up towards turn 1. Lovely stuff from Remco. So now comes out through in towards turn 2, and then the snake section, as I like to call it, the Maggot and Beckett section, designed of course by Herman Tilke. This track 3, 4, 5 through 6, and then through the right-hander in towards turn 7, end of the first sector to 24.2 through the first sector from Remco. He's got a Ferrari of black box, I think that might be ahead of him out on track. Remco now coming out through in towards turn 10, and then in toward the left-hander of turn 11, leading onto the long 1 kilometre straight. That's actually Petter who is in front. It was one of the Ferraris, I was nearly right. Remco now coming out through turn 11 on this long 1 kilometre run down in towards turn number 12 into the braking zone, and Remco is a man who could be on a very good lap here in the racing point. He'll put it hard into the braking zone, 203 mile an hour out on track, reaching the braking zone, locking up in towards turn 12, and now coming through turn 13. It's a 1 minute 0.6 through the middle sector. Again, a little bit of snap of oversteer coming out through 13, through 14, and then in towards turns 15 and 16. Opts to take the wide out line. We normally see drivers look to the inside line there. Now coming in towards the triple right-hander, of course, Verstappen corner, as I like to call it, through 16, 17, and 18. Famously where Verstappen invalidated and ruined his podium from Raikkonen, as Remco now comes through into the final couple of corners. Now through the final corner at turn 20, comes across the line, 129.9, not a bad lap to start off the evening.
Yep, Rocco's going to take pole there by 5 tenths, and that's already 29.3, only 1 tenth off F2 pole, and Rocco just going on board him there already. I think he was 4 tenths up on Remco up into the third sector, as I think there's a couple more people. I see a McLaren, I think. David, who's going to come around the last corner and see what he can do.
Yep, Amenda's just in front of him as well, 130.2 from him. David now coming across the line at 130.3, about 500ths of a second off. But currently, Rocco out on top, Remco second, Amenda in third. Not many lap times coming in though. Petter's through the first sector, 24.2. Just running on board with the likes of Pelly. They obviously invalidated their lap times. It's so hard to pick up an invalid lap around here, and it's even harder to try and get a clean lap in.
Yeah, America with the many twisty sections as Black Box takes pole by 18 thousandths, which is a very good lap. Yeah, it's so snaky, the track, that you have to be right on the limit, and especially with the first sector, it's very easy to overstep the mark, and with these also big F1 cars, you can become a little bit of a bus coming round a hairpin almost.
I'll tell you what, Bunty, though, Petter's on a really good middle sector here. He's around Rocco Black Box sort of area, possibly going in between Rocco and Remco, maybe with this lap. But Petter's now coming out through 16, in towards turn 17 and 18. Black Box out on top, Rocco second, and Remco in third. Mads there in fourth, with Amenda in fifth. Those are the top 5 of the stage. Only 7 lap times being set. Rock there on a 131 flat. He was on a set of medium compound tyres. Petter at the final corner, comes across the line. The first of many predictions that I've made that will probably go right here tonight. Petter goes third at 129.8, running between Rocco and Remco.
Yeah, I love the confidence there, but Petter, I think he said in the Discord he wasn't going to put in too much practice, so to only be 4 tenths off pole off his teammate, no less, it looks good for Pedavol, especially if he can dial that car into the race, hopefully, for him.
Yeah, Flex is coming through the final corner as well. I believe Flex is actually in TTML, or I commentate. I'm not sure who it is. There's so many Dutchmans in there, I don't know. Jensen has been disqualified from the session for being parked in a dangerous location. That was on the exit into the entrance into the pit lane, I think. Or is that a glitch? No, it's a disqualification. So Jensen disqualified, last to first, maybe?
Ah, yes, Jensen did say he was going to do that. I completely forgot at the time, but Jensen, yeah, he's really going to try and show his skills here. He's got, I mean, quite literally nothing to lose in terms of the championship, so he can afford to, I guess, just go for all the glory and advance the first challenge, which will be very tough with quite a spread out grid in terms of pace.
Yeah, I mean, he's wrapped up the championship already in 28 laps around here. Isn't for the faint-hearted at all. I've driven around this track before, and it's very, very hard to drive. Henny's now coming through the final corner, comes to the line, and takes the timing beam of the 1:30.6. Not a bad lap time there at all. Robin, his teammates flying through the first sector. Just trying to see if there's anybody further else on. Denzo is on a lap. Zero's coming out through turn 1 on an out lap. Don't think there's anybody on a full lap actually out on track apart from Robin.
Speldenar, I think, has just started one, so
yeah,
he's done a 24.4 in the first sector, but we'll see. Hasn't set one before, so not sure whether he's improving, I guess, to his previous times.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Robin's ahead of him out on track, and this is the man I'm on board with at the minute. Denzel back into the pit lane, Flex is, of course, just off his out lap. It looks like Ballboy might be going out for a run as well. He's coming at the final corner. We'll get on board with him shortly. But Robin now through in towards turn number 12 through 13. That's a 101.4 through the middle sector from Robin as he now comes through with nearly halfway through qualifying. Black Box out on top, Rocco second, Petter in third. But as you say, Bunty, quite a sparse as the Renault off actually to the left-hand side, taking his own track limits there. I think that might have been Flex on a lap of 1:30.8. That's not how you drive this track, to be honest. But I think he was getting out of the way of Robin as he now comes through in towards turns 19 and 20. I think he'll break the timing beam between Flex and Brock, maybe. Comes across the line just shy of that, 1:31.1, the slowest time of the evening. Speldenar is on a lap in towards the final corner as well in the Williams. Cuts the timing beam now. It's a quick lap. Comes across the line, goes fifth ahead of Mads.
Yeah, Speldenar impressing in his first race around Japan with getting up to P5, I think it was on the first lap. Ahead of Jensen, who was the championship leader, who obviously had his worst race of the season, but Speldenar got some solid pace. I think the lap didn't look the complete maybe as he would have liked, so he will probably be looking to maybe get ahead of Remco for his last run.
Yeah, you would imagine so. He might even get towards the likes of Petter as well, 1:29.8 in the Ferrari. Ballboy's on a lap coming through Verstappen corner through 17 and now through 18 and then in towards turns 19. Looking like a quite solid lap here from Ballboy actually as he comes up in towards turn number 20. As he now through the final corner, a little bit hesitant on the power, comes across the line now. Slowest time of the evening at 1:31.4, but I'm sure he's going to put in a better lap time than that.
Yeah, throughout the whole of the season, after interviewing after every race, he does always say he gives us all in quali and gets the max out of the car, which is quite good for himself, but in terms of for the team, I guess, of Mercedes, who are a little bit lackluster in the championship of P3 compared to obviously the real life dominance, as Rocco is looking quite strong on this lap. But yeah, I think he'll maybe Ballboy just be wanting to have a few safety cars and a few life-threatening crashes to open up the points for him.
Well, you never know. You could get it around here, of course, here in America. Speldenar gets out of the way. Rocco was on a good lap. He's 400ths up, currently theoretically ahead of Black Box, but we'll see. Coming out through the final corner what the lap time is going to be. I think it's a 29.2. Comes across the line. Perfect. Just a 29.2. Goes top.
And someone's popped up there, but I cannot tell you who it was.
Zero,
yeah.
Zero.
On the mediums as well, so they are going for a little bit of different strategy. Zero likes to do that, so throughout the whole of the season, do a little different strategy to his teammate, and I think this track will suit it quite nicely because of the high tyre wear.
Remco, I believe, is coming back into the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken, unless he's the Racing Point running down and towards turn 12. And Menda is now, though, coming through with 4/10 up nearly in the middle sector. The Spaniard now coming in towards the final two corners through turn 19 through 20. Of course, and he just invalidated out of turn 19. Of course, former FRL F3 champion back in the day, Amanda. recognise him because I commentated on him. Amenda 30.2 currently invalidated on this lap. Mads is 300 up through the middle sector, coming out of turn 15 in towards turn 16, 17 and 18. It's Rocco out on top. Black Box though, just as soon as I say that, 29.1 puts it right in the mix, and he goes to the top of the standings by nearly 0.2 of a second. Mads, no, coming in towards the final couple of corners. The Dane flying through in towards turn 20, comes across the line to competitive lap for Mads, comes across the line, and yeah, he goes fifth with a 130 flat, improves ahead of Speldenar, his teammate.
Padavol's just got a bit of a whip of oversteer, and he does improve, but I think given the he's 5/10 almost off Rocco, or 4/10 I should say, he does seem a little bit uncompetitive. It's lucky for him Jensen's not setting laps, and the likes of Brock and Zero, who are always up there, are on the mediums, so he might get away with P3 here, but he probably won't be happy with that lap.
Denzel's on a lap coming in towards the middle sector. Wow, he's quicker than the middle. Denzel might be setting the quickest lap of them all coming through the middle sector. Of course, he races for LR. That's Leonis Racing to you and me. And Denzel now coming through in towards turn 15, out through 16 into 17, and then through out of 18 through the Stappen corners, I like to call it. Of course, Black Box out on top, Rocco second, Petra in third. I love it how people, by the way, in the comment section are thinking I'm Ball Boy. I'm not Ball Boy. I am James Head. I'm taking you through the stream here tonight. Denzel through the final quarter to the line, goes second, 29.1, puts it right in the mix.
Yeah, the top three looking really close. I don't really get the comments there because I don't think Ballboy's commentated in F1 for probably 2 seasons, but yeah, Ballboy in 15th, as we say. Luckily I don't think he'll be getting a wooden spoon with Jensen, so he might have to give him a £5 for that little favour, but we will see. Hopefully one more run or two from the top 3.
Yeah, Peli Messina, Umbra and Kowi are still yet to set lap times as well. I think we saw Flex go there up to 6th ahead of Mads. Literally saw T-Hawk, by the way, put in the comment section. Mads looking very competitive in P5. It's almost uncanny. He's in P7 now, and it's still looking quite uncanny as Messina has left the session. Hopefully he'll be able to get back in soon. Black Box out on top, Denzel second, Rocco in third. Zero not on a lap. I think Robin might be on a lap. Actually, Zero is actually on a lap. He's 2.5 tenths up coming through turn 19 and now runs up in toward the final couple of corners for CPI. Comes through the final corner now. I think he'll go ahead of Henne maybe. Comes across the line. Actually improves ahead of Brock 130.9. Didn't find a lot of time in that final sector though.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what to really say there. Zero, I think P11 would be brilliant for him. Obviously, on the mediums, if they're fresh, that would be just as good as you can get, really.
Have you seen the comment? That's to you.
No. Let me see.
I believe that might be from a man called Old School, if I'm not mistaken. Mark Aldridge, I know who you are. Black Fox out on top, Denzel second, Rocco in third, Petter in fourth. Oh, welcome back to FRL, everyone.
I do recognise that. I think that's Scar, if I'm not mistaken. But...
Oh, is it Scar? Oh, I thought it was Mark A. Mark Aldridge, Old School, and League of Europe is who I thought it was. Sorry.
You're not in the FRL mentality just yet, but in a couple of races you sure will be.
Oh, it's very strange being back, but I'm enjoying it all the same. Black Box out on top, Denzel second, Rocco in third. I think Speldenar's on a good lap here, coming out towards the middle sector through 17 and 18. And then towards the final couple of corners, Zero and Robin still out on lap times as well. Plenty of lap times to be set still, and plenty of improvements probably to be found as well. Speldenar coming out through the final corner. The Dutchman now runs the line. Good lap time, goes fifth ahead of Mads by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, he's looking really promising at the moment. I think if he can keep it clean in the race, he could be looking at a podium if he gets a bit of luck, but a could is always a could, it's never a will, so unlike the likes of maybe Black Box, who will quite definitely get a podium probably, because I think he's probably 38th on time trial, I think, when he last said, so he's one of the fastest guys on PS4 at the moment, especially around this track, so he's going to be looking to get pole and probably the race win and maybe even fastest lap.
Yeah, he's got to watch out for Denzel and Rocco, two very good and clean drivers behind him. Black Box will be hoping that Denzel and Rocco don't improve and that there's invalidations from probably the both of them. Henne is on an outlap at the minute, Ballboy has just started a lash, and by the way, he is there. He's driving out on track. He's not here in the commentary box. At least not yet. We'll be doing the interviews, of course, later on. Black Box, Denzel, Rocco currently a top 3. Less than 2 minutes to go, though, in the session.
Yeah, they timed it perfectly. Pedivol and Denzo going in quick succession to get on their outlaps. I've just seen Mazina's on an outlap, so he's good to see he's been able to rejoin as he makes way for a McLaren and a Williams, or sorry, AlphaTauri. God, I'm having a horror show with recognising cars. Yes, it is AlphaTauri, thank God. But a lot of guys are on the medium, so I think they will be looking to do, I guess you would say, the alternative strategy of medium to hard, which is generally the fastest strategy. But if you've got the likes of maybe Hennep and Robin Grevers, who are no slouches but are not the fastest, it might be quite tough to make it through that sort of traffic.
Yeah, you've got the likes of Henne as well. Henne's the man I'm on board with on the lap, currently running down and towards turn 12. It's a competitive first sector, but whether or not he can pick it up in the final, in the middle and the final sector remains to be seen. Comes out through turn 12. Robin has actually left the session. Henne now comes out through the final couple of corners in the middle sector. 4/10 up. Yeah, he's improving quite a lot. A distinctive ooh there from my co-commentator as Henne now comes in towards turn number 15. Then to 16. Oh, he just got caught on the inside curve there. Just flung him out wide slightly. Through 16, through 17, through 18, he's got a Flex ahead of him out on track. He's got a McLaren as well, of I believe Amenda ahead of him as well. Oh, and he invalidates.
Gonna have to get out of the way. There's gonna be people pushing. It's a shame for him, but I don't think it would have been an improvement because he was losing bags of time in that last sector. Maybe the nerves getting to him. As we will be looking for the top 4 to set a lap, and I think they will all make it in time. Pedivol's just started a lap and see what the Ferrari man, the Czech Republican driver, can do.
Yeah, we'll see what the Czech can do, of course. Go on, sorry.
Oh, I was just going to commentate on this. Like, hopefully he gets pole and he doesn't disappoint me. He's going well, hooked it up nicely into turn 1, and now through the S's he's just going to have to swing it in. You can tell he's confident because he's using the high gears. He's slightly down on his time, which isn't ideal. Has to hook up this curb, and he has. Try not to run too wide, and he has. Oh no. Oh, there is a delay though. I've just realised Oh, I think Rocco.
Yeah, there's a timing glitch.
Yeah,
I think it's about a minute, the timing glitch. Remco's going to be the final man to come across the line. Black Box out on top, Denzel second, Rocco in third. Everyone has managed to get onto their final laps though, which is important.
Yeah, definitely. Denzo, just seen, is almost 2/10 down in the first sector. So if Black Box can put in a good middle sector here, he's looking favourite for pole by just pure elimination of the drivers not being able to improve.
Yeah, let's run on board with Black Box. He's in towards turn 12, runs the curb very nicely indeed through the middle sector. Well, it's 2/10 up, and this could be a really competitive lap from Black Box. He's not 38th on time trial around here for nothing. Black Box now coming through in towards turn 15, in towards Verstappen at 16, 17 and 18. Speldenal, by the way, went 5th. Amenda went 6th as well on their lap times. Flex is out of the session in 8th position. David down in 10th, and Messina only 11th on a set of mediums. Black Box, though, in towards the final couple of corners. It's a 28.8, I think this is going to be. Black Box to the line, 28.7. Improves 3.5 tenths.
Unreal. Rocco's improving by 13 thousandths, but he might as well just retire from the session because he's not even close. But
Denzel,
Rocco is no pushover.
Oh, Denzel to the line, improves on his lap time, 300s up. Rocco was 1300s up, as you say. He's the final man, really, that's out there on a lap. Pelly, I believe, is ahead of him. Actually, on a lap, the Dutchman, as now Rocco the Brit, comes in towards the final couple of corners. Black Box, Denzel, Rocco, currently a top 3. I think Rocco's going quicker. He doesn't. 29.1, a 10.5 improvement. Remco out there on a lap. He finished still in 8th position. Lovely back end of a McLaren I'm seeing there, by the way. David is in 10th position. But currently, that's the end of qualifying, and it is Black Box, the Brit, out on top. The German and the Brit of Denzo and Rocco in 2nd and 3rd. Petter in 4th with Remco in 5th. Over a second covering the top 5, or under a second I should say, covering the top 5. Quite something that you normally don't see around here. Speldenau in 6th, Amanda 7th, Mads in 8th, Flex in 9th, and David in 10th. Pelly in 11th, Messina in 12th, Henne 13th, Robin in 14th, Bullboy down in 15th, Zero 16th, Brock in 17th, Umbra 18th, Cowie and Jensen. Jensen trying that last to first challenge right down the back of the field. Cowie not managed to get a lap in either, but Black Box holds the spoils in qualifying.
Yeah, Black Box definitely spoiling the party for anyone hoping to get anywhere near to the pinnacle of that grid. The run into turn 1 is quite a long one, and it goes uphill, so picking your braking point can be quite difficult, as we saw with a reserve yesterday in F2 who went storming in like a wrecking ball, taking out a few drivers, as it is dry, which is, I think, good to see. And hopefully we'll see some different strategies and maybe a nice finish and a close finish as well towards the end.
Yeah, very dry out on track, but very overcast, if I've got to be honest. There may be a threat of rain in the air, and of course around here in America, normally the weather changes very quickly indeed, especially in Austin, Texas, where we are. 5.4 kilometres in length, of course, this track. 2 DRS zones, one down the start-finish straight, one down in towards turn 12. Plenty of opportunities for overtaking as well. And I'm seeing some of the comments that are coming through. Will Murdoch, the GT Sport driver nowadays, formerly of FRL, bloody hell, hello, James, he has said. Well, hello there, Mr. Murdoch. It has been a while. And Jack Newman, that's Jacko, of course, just missed out on making it in time. Best of luck. He sees us next week. And of
Who's
course,
that? Who's that after him?
That is Denzel, the German man from Chile. That is T-Hawk.
Oh, I was thinking FRL Bunty, didn't I? He was what?
Oh yeah,
that's enough publicity for me.
T-Hawk's comment came in before yours, that's what it is. And Bunty, yeah, Mark A probably hard in the long run. Well,
yeah,
look,
I mean...
looking at the strategy, I think you're wrong.
If he thinks that, you know, you're going to have to go with it. It's a kind of crofty-like answer there, but... I mean, no one's starting on hards, which is very confusing, to be honest. I think if there's any track you would want to start on hards, it would be... I guess USA, especially Robin Grevers, who's got nothing to lose in P20. If he's slow anyway, no offence to him, he might as well go hards, but I guess a lot of them just want to stick it out with the soft runners somewhat and not get picked off like a chicken.
I've heard some weird things in my commentary career, but I've never heard that. Black Box out on top, Denzel second, Rocco in third, of course, the top 10 on a set of soft Compana tyres. Matey Ball there in the comment section saying, it's a familiar voice. It is a familiar voice. We're back for the final 4 rounds. Robin, by the way, is starting behind Jensen. Jensen even got disqualified from the session, and yet Robin's behind him. This game works in mysterious ways.
Well, the usual thing we're meant to do is give a quali driver of the day and do race predictions. So I will just quickly put in my quali driver of the day, as that's the thing in FRL. I think it'll probably be a Black Box. So if you have to go for anyone apart from Black Box, James, who would it be for your quali driver of the day?
I would go Black Box. Quickest man out on track, well ahead of Denzel and Rocco. And do you know what? I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm going to go for top 3. And I'm going to go Black Box for the win, Rocco second, Messina third.
I think I'll go Jensen for the win from P19. And I'll go Obrock in P16. And another surprise podium from Zero, who'd definitely be loving a podium when he gets not too many as he would like. But about to get underway here with the Ferrari, the furthest man up on the grid.
Yeah, Robin and Jensen just lining up onto their grid slots now. We are just moments away from FRL F1 Season 12, Round 19 and the championship about to begin. 5 red lights are on, but they are not on because I'm preempting the start. The 5 red lights are about to go out any second now for racing here in FRL. The 5 red lights are now coming on, and it is... Lights down, away we go. Denzel with a cracking start. Black Box on the outside and will have to defend the position. Rocco has got a shocker, but Denzel's already ahead of Black Box running in towards turn 1. Are we going to see a little bit of a Constantino effect in behind? No, Denzel leads. Remco, yeah, right on the back of Rocco. Nearly got quite close, but Denzel's out on top. Black Box in second. They've already pulled 8 tenths clear through the rest. Everyone is further down the field. Mads and David have dropped positions. Pelly has gained both positions up them. Oh, and there's an Alfa Romeo good spearing off, and then Zero. Zero is out the race. He's retired. I wonder if that's going to deploy a safety car. Denzel out on top, Black Box second, Rocco in third. But a manic opening here in America, and a VSC deployed.
Yeah, I didn't catch that. I just caught the end of Zero just going straight on into the wall. I'm thinking possibly that's a controller disconnect, but he's not going to be very happy with that Zero. His season's been fairly disappointing for his standards, and if Alfa Romeo wants to wrap up the constructors, it's going to be twice as difficult now.
It is. He's out the race. It looks like he actually speeded into the wall coming out through turn 4. He might have just lost the back end slightly. It was a very awkward wide-out camera lens that I saw. But Zero went speeding off, and I can only assume it's either a little bit of contact side-by-side through the S section, or he's had a little bit of a moment as Denzo has got a drive-through for speeding under the VSC, and that is disastrous for Denzo. Black Box and Rocco get us back underway just in behind, so Denzo leads, but he's got a drive-through penalty. Black Box second, Rocco in third, Remco in fourth, Messina and Henne are going side-by-side, and Henne is actually dropping down positions early on. Messina is through, Brock is through, and he's into 13th position, Brock up into 14th. Denzo, though, already straight into the pit lane to serve that drive-through.
Yeah, not the best of starts for Denzo, especially getting a really good start and the jump over Black Box, and now Black Box is back to where he would probably think he belongs, but Remco, he dived it down the inside of many cars into turn 1, and he's reaped the risks, and he's been rewarded with P3 now.
Yeah, risk and the reward out on track. Denzo all the way down in 19th position after that drive-through. So he's came out the pit lane in relatively clear air, but there's going to be a big old DRS train for these guys. Black Box, though, leads the way. Oh, just makes a slight mistake, actually, coming up the hill in towards turn 10 there. Rocco now 4/10 away. Of course, DRS will be enabled next lap around. But in terms of the ERS early on, Rocco's got 94% ERS. Black Box has got 97%. I wonder if there's a threat of rain maybe later on in the race, as Rocco now gets within the slipstream of Black Box, runs at him down in towards turn 12. I know Rocco, he's not going to really go for the move here. Black Box leads the way in towards turn 12. Rocco in second. Umbra and Jensen going side by side further down the field, and Ballboy trying to get David as well. Down into the braking zone at 12. Gets the car stopped, nearly hits the bollard going through, but Ballboy's through and he's into 10th.
Yeah, Bullboy's had a history with that, but especially with Bullboy getting his first DNF in 50 races. It was in Singapore, but David, it's all over the place. Now it's going to be two Mercedes overtaking the McLaren in about 3 corners. And Brock is looking confident as well. Not sure whether David's got damage. He doesn't, but he's really slow. Not sure what's happened to him there, but he's going to have to somehow pick up the pace if he wants to get some points.
I can only assume it's blistering maybe on that set of soft compounded tyres. He's the furthest way down in terms of the guys on a set of softs. Messina now is pulling out a Ballboy though. Looks to the inside line, and Ballboy I don't think is going to fight this. It looks like Brock is going to go for the move on David as well. Down and towards turn 1, and he does get the move done. Up into 12th position. Messina through, and actually Brock makes a mistake on exit. He's got the inside line though. He'll throw him out into the camber, and Brock is through and he's into 12th.
Yeah, tell you what, Speldon, I was getting very close to Amanda there. Williams, I think they're running fairly low in terms of their last, in fact, in the constructors, but they're doing really well as Robin's retired in, and it's another VSCs, another retirement in the first safety car. I did not see how that came about, but Robin and Zero will be kicking themselves, but I'm not sure whether this is going to help anyone, to be honest. Maybe David if it was close to the pits, but yeah, this is just, I guess, dragging the race out a little bit longer.
Yeah, it is dragging the race out a little bit longer. Actually, Robin has crashed exactly where Zero crashed as well. So I'm guessing there's been some sort of... he's just lost the back end purely, I'm imagining. And that's why he's out of the race. So Robin and Zero, looks like 2 mistakes might have just cost them their chance in this race. Black Box still leading, Rocco in second, Remco in third. I'm sure we'll get a debrief from them in the interviews later on.
Oh, they're battling tooth and nail, these two. And Brock has taken a really wide line, but he's going to get the momentum off the corner, but I don't think he's going to fight it into this really dirty air section.
Henny's managed to get back through on that Umbra further down the field, by the way. It looks like he had damage. And Umbra and Denzel side by side. Henne hangs on. Down Denzel to the inside line on a set of softs. Absolutely dives it down the inside line into 20. Never really an overtaking move there, but it's job done for Denzo.
Yeah, Jack is really struggling here on the mediums, but obviously Denzo serving that drive-through means he is going to have to be around these guys, as Robin has just had a bump effect from Clary and he's lost all the momentum and he's been picked off from Denzo.
Umbra's going side by side with Henny into the S section. This is absolutely unbelievable, and he gets the move done. How has he managed to do that? Umbra is through, and he's into 17th position on the outside line, not on the inside, on the outside line in towards turn number 3. Wow, Umbra's through, and he's into 17th. Great move, that.
Yeah, very ballsy from the Scotsman of Jack, as Jensen's just got past Bullboy before the DRS detection. Well, I think he's done it after, but he's got the DRS here, so I think Bullboy Might even be a sitting duck from Brock, but Brock's just too far back as Pelly showed once again some really good race pace, as is often the case when he qualifies badly, which I'm not sure where he qualified if I'm being honest, so we'll check.
11th.
P11. So yeah, he's got the mediums and he's actually the highest medium runner, so Pelly could be in a fight here, maybe for a podium even.
This is going to suit him well, I think, later on in the race as well. He's in relatively clear air compared to Spell ahead. And Pelly will be hoping to try and gain, but the softs really do last until about lap 7, lap 8, before these guys come on to a set of mediums, maybe on to a set of hards towards the end of the race. It might be the simple one-stop between softs and hards. Messina now on the back of Matt. The two Scandinavians going side by side. Of course, Messina in Finland and Mads in Denmark, as Petter has spun, coming out through turn 2, and has lost positions for Amanda and Spell. I didn't see what happened there.
Yeah, me neither, as YT Flex gets a penalty, but it's not ideal for Pedivol. But in terms of the constructors, Alfa Romeo need to outscore Ferrari by 29 points to confirm they've got the constructors, and at the moment it's all Ferrari, because Jensen's not even in the points, so that means Ferrari will be scoring 33 points, which obviously slightly opens up the Constructors' Championship.
Rocco on the back of Black Box for the lead of the race, lap 5 out of 28. If you're just tuning in, Black Box takes out the bollard there to the left-hand side as Black Box leads the way. Rocco second, Remco in third, Amanda in fourth. There's David, yeah, on Ballboy, that is, further down the field. Oh, and actually Denzel makes it down the inside, possibly on both of them. Tries to get the move done. The undercut is there for David on the outside, and now Denzel all the way around the outside through 13. Brilliant stuff by Denzel. He is through. LR, if they're watching, will be very happy with that. Denzel's through, and he's into 13. And now Ballboy trying again to get through on David. Not quite close enough. Messina is really on the back end, though, of Flex.
Yeah, I mean, the two Spanish-speaking drivers giving each other loads of room as David sadly gets a penalty, but it's not looking good for some drivers who are dropping down the order like Flex, Mads and Ballboy. They're just being picked off by these medium runners as the mediums are starting to phase into this race now.
Yeah, Messina through on Flex there, good stuff, and he's up into 8th position. Cowie is going side by side with Ballboy, who's dropping down the field after his earlier exert of going up the field. Ballboy now on the outside line. He's not going to try the Umbra move, is he? No, he's not. Cowie's still in 15th. David in 14th, just ahead as well. We are here, of course, in America. Black Box leads the way. Rocco in second. Umbra, another 3-second time penalty, just for the benefit of everyone. There are the penalties. Spell, Flex, Mad, and David have all scored 3-second penalties at the minute. Umbra has got 6 seconds worth of penalties, as now Rocco right on the back of Black Box, hunting him down in towards turn 12. This is job done for Rocco. He is through then, and it's a relentless move down in towards turn number 12. He is through and he's into the lead of the race, but now Amanda is through on Remco as well. And they go side by side and towards turn 13. The Spaniard against Remco on the outside line, and Amanda hangs on for third, just about the Spaniard on the back, and he's now through and he's into third. Rocco though into the lead.
Yeah, another Spaniard was having another fight with Racing Point now, where I think it was Carrie and David.
Mads
and David once again, as Mads spins, as it's really kicking off for P14 here. David losing the position to Cowie, and Ballboy even getting ahead of David, so I think Mads has filtered into unlucky 13th, so hopefully he doesn't spin again and light up those rears as he goes miles wide, and he's going to pit, so maybe a 2-stop from Mads.
I'm not surprised. He's on a set of soft compounded tyres. This is probably the time where you're going to come in to the pit lane. If he goes on to a set of hards, I'm imagining this race is going to stay dry. But if he goes mediums, then we might be in a different kettle of fish. I wonder if he's going to go mediums here and maybe see if there's going to be rain. No, there's a front wing change as well for Mads, by the way. He is into the pit lane and he's going to be right down the back of the field, the Dane. Rocco leads, Black Box second, Amanda in third, Remco in fourth. Black Box is trying to hassle on the back of Rocco, and Rocco managed to get that move done, but he hasn't pulled away, and this is a telling sign around this track. You cannot really pull away when you've got a man in DRS and who's got 90% of ERS going to come running at you down in towards turn 12, and I don't think Black Box is close enough here.
Yeah, Black Box just trying to put off Rocco there by weaving on a straight almost. Well, Black Box has got a lot more ERS, as Mazine is making a move on Pelly down the inside, so that's what I think Black Box was thinking about doing, but Pelly's got the better exit, and Mazina once again is going to dive in, but Pelly's going to get the better exit again. Is Pelly going to go for a Yana Watmere move down the inside? No, he isn't. He's going to go slightly too wide, and he might find himself in Canada if he does that too many times.
Macho, never underestimate Messina. You are totally right, my friend. He wasn't in F1 Esports Challenger Series for anything. Messina in 7th, Pelly now down into 8th position. Lovely move. And he seems to be controlling his tyre life quite well as well. So he is going to be really gaining. And there is a chance that an overcut can work around here. So Messina, I wouldn't be surprised if he's got the pace to catch the back of Petter and then overcut these guys maybe later on the race.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Umbra, who's obviously Jack.
He's retired.
Retires. I thought that was strategic, but obviously his race was not going to plan.
Remco made a mistake there, spell right on the back, go on.
Yeah, I think generally there'll be, I think the actual undercut is quite more powerful, because even on fresh hards, once you can get them up to temperature, because the sauce do overheat so much around this twisty and tight track, they do actually, the undercut I would say is actually more powerful than the overcut, but we will see, and I imagine one of the top two will want to go for an overcut.
And here comes Black Box on the inside line. Yeah, Rocco now drifts down into P2. He will not give this up without a fight, Rocco. He is a very, very good man, one-to-one racecraft, and Black Box leads the way now from Rocco down in towards turn 13. I think Speller's through on Remco, just in behind as well. But now Rocco tries to hassle the back of the Ferrari ahead, but the Ferrari hangs on. Black Box through, and he's into the lead of the race. I wonder if Rocco now, maybe if he hasn't got the tyres, is going to come into the pit and try and undercut Black Box.
Yeah, I think that's just track position for Black Box, so he can be the one to make the move into the pits and have the little bit of an advantage as Remco gets penalty, which means Speldenar is on track now ahead of Remco. If I said that right, I think I did.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is, and but Petter's got to get both of them, of course, with the 3-second time penalties.
True, but Rocco, I think, might also be quite happy to sit in P2, not only with the DRS, but he will be able to react to Black Box's decision if he wants to pit, so he won't ever get caught out here, which is good for him.
It is very good for him. Flex is into the pit lane, Ultra hard companetized he goes. David is also into the pit lane in behind, and he's Ultra hard companetized as well. Spell again picks up another 3-second time penalty. I'm not sure what the record here is in FRL, by the way, for the amount of penalties you can pick up in one race. Speller's only got 6 seconds. I think Billy back in the day, I remember Widelow Billy back in the day, I think he's now known as a different name. He got disqualified from a race. Messina, by the way, has just got through and Petter, diving move down in towards turn 11, gets the move done, and now Spell's going to run side by side with Amenda, running down in towards turn 12. There should be job done for Spell, and he's now through and he's into third. Just cuts across on Amenda there slightly, gives him the benefit of the doubt, and Spell is through and he's into P3. Denzel and Brock fighting side by side as well, and Denzel is through and he's into P10.
Yeah, it's quite hard to believe Denzo's down in 10th with that drive-through, and Jensen and Brock there, 3 drivers in that 9th down to 11th position who will want to definitely get a podium or at least top 5, but Mazine is very aggressive with these moves, just trying to make the most of those mediums while they're at the best compared to the softs. As Remco locks up, is he going to pit? He isn't.
No.
So Mazine is now going to be all over the back of him into turn 1 if he can just get a good exit, which he does. Slight bit of oversteer. He's not got a lot of ERS, but that doesn't matter, and Remco's not going to fight this too hard.
Yeah, Messina derating down the straight there slightly, but he's through and he's into P4 and he's making relentless progress coming through the field. I did predict him for P3, by the way, and I feel like I've underestimated him now because he's now up to P4 and he's right on the back of Amenda. So we'll see how that goes. Black Box still out on top, Rocco second, Amenda in third, Messina in fourth at this stage. But Umbra apparently is going to report David about something. I'm not sure what that might be. I'm sure the stewards will look at that nonetheless. Messina, though, on the back of Amenda, you have to be impressed by his pace. He's all over the back of him.
Yeah, Messina always comes to life in these races just by the perfect strategic decisions, as we saw back in his first win in Australia. As I imagine he's going to get another move down on Amenda, as Amenda does know he's on a better tyres and does look like he's going for a point where Amenda's consolidating it. And
Petter trying to go around the outside of Remco and there was contact.
Well, I think Brock's got past Denso with the help of DRS, so Brock on the mediums as well is making his way through. Jensen's being quite quiet.
Oh, and Pelly dives it down the inside of Petter. It's all beginning to kick off just before the pit stops. Pelly's doing his into 6th. I think Petter might have damage here. Petter's run out massively wide there. I think he's got damage.
I think it's just pure understeer with the sauce, which is crazy to think, but I think he's got a clean front wing at least for the time being. But Pelly's pitting as well, and Remco is staying out, so maybe he's going to hope for a safety car, but Pelly's actually stayed out as well. And on the mediums, Pelly's going to be up into P4 on track now, with the better strategy as well. Pelly could also be in a fight for some really good points for Haas, who are struggling woefully down in 9th in the Constructors' Championship.
And the other Haas of Rocco, by the way, is out in 10th position and in complete and utter clear air. He was only 9/10 off Black Box coming into the pit lane. So Rocco now has got the time now. And with the sun beginning to come through the clouds here in Austin, Texas, it is the time now. Jensen, by the way, side by side with Remco, down in towards turn number 10 and through turn 11. And Jensen dives it down the inside. It's only 19th up to 5th.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at Mads there, fighting for the win spin with David, and they both haven't pitted just yet, so Mads, hopefully he doesn't retire from the races. It's nice to always have a full grid, and you'd like to have a full grid all crossing the line, but obviously 3 retirements. Zero's unfortunate with the damage, and Umbra and Robin, I think just pure, I mean, rage quits, I guess you could say, or strategic quits, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you could say that, to be honest. I know Umbra mentions, let's be honest, with the amount of penalties I was getting, I was going to get disqualified. Never give up in Formula 1, that's the thing. I know there's only 10 positions available for the points. There's the yellow flag in Sector 3, by the way, and it's Spell, who is rounding a set of hards. And he's got damage, right to template, I think.
Does he? Is
no.
it my camera, or you always seem to think there's damage, but I don't think he does. But he's got so many penalties, and those fresh hards, I guess he's just not got them up to temperature in that middle sector where you need third sector, sorry.
Rocco's going to be ahead of Black Box coming out of the pit lane. There is Rocco to the left-hand side. Black Box is on the pit exit, but he is now 7/10 of a second behind. And Rocco, the undercut has worked for the Brit, and he's now a second clear of Black Box, and that is important because he has got out of DRS range.
Yeah, and Black Box is probably going to take a sector maybe to warm up his tyres, but it looks already like he's going to be pushing. Rocco does have more ERS still, which is quite impressive, but most importantly for Rocco, when he's catching up to the likes of Cowie, he might be able to use him as an almost barrier to Black Box.
Remco's on the back of Brock. Brock, by the way, got round the outside of Remco in towards turn 11, gets the job done, and he's through and he's into 4th. I see further down the field as well, Henne and Amenda are fighting just in the background of shot, and they come now on the back of Ballboy, and there is Petter involved in this as well. We could have a potential 3 wide scenarios. Umbra has left the session, there's yellow flag in sector 2, and it's Mads that is round. Mads that is round coming through turn 9, and a safety car deployed.
We've had, I think, 3 retirements in that kind of sort of sequence of around turn, I think it is 6-ish to turn 8, I guess you could say, with Zero, Mads, and was it Robin, I think, also crashed. And Mazzina is going to pit. I'm not sure whether the Sauce can make it though, so hards aren't going to be ideal, so I'm not really sure what he's going to do. I think it's hard for the Mercedes man.
This is a perfect scenario for everyone that has came into the pit lane, all under the safety car. Rocco and Black Box have got to stick to a delta time. They do not have to stick to a delta time coming into the pit lane. And Messina's going to come out in 3rd here. Messina is going to be behind Black Box and Rocco on the run up towards turn 1. And Black Box is still in 2nd, Rocco leading the way, but Messina, on a set of hards, has had to gamble here. Pelly and Jensen onto a set of softs, though. They're going to be quicker later on in the race, but they're going to be at a threat for maybe doing another stop towards the end. They'll be around lap 24 if they do, and that will probably only mean that they'll try and get the fastest lap point if it is, of course, available. Rocco out on top, though, Black Box 2nd, Messina 3rd, Pelly in 4th, Jensen in 5th. Just have a word, though, on Pelly and Jensen. They're both on a set of soft compounded tyre. They're behind Messina on a set of hards, and they're behind Rocco and Black Box on a set of mediums. Surely, theoretically, on paper, they're going to be the quickest men out on track.
Yeah, I mean, you'd like to think so if you're Pelly, but with that penalty, that's just going to be a what-if for Pelly throughout the whole of the race if he finishes among close to the podium. but I mean, those softs are going to be very, very fast, almost 2 seconds faster than the hards, but once you reach the end of that stint, it's going to be almost driving on rubber, just pure and utter. I don't know what I'm guessing at here, but the tyres are going to go off near the end a lot, and Mazzinas will probably phase in quite nicely, but I think Rocco and Blackbox have got the perfect strategy on, and they're still P1 and 2, so I would still say they're favourites. I just realised Rocco's got a penalty. I didn't even realise.
He has 3-second time penalty. I think it was picked up through the S section a couple of laps ago, if I'm not mistaken. So Rocco leads, but he's got a 3-second penalty. The guys in behind Blackbox and Messina don't have any 3-second time penalties, and that is going to be the important thing. There are the penalties, by the way, further down the field. Remco's got a penalty along with Coey, Ballboy and David all on 3 seconds. Spell on 6 seconds there in 11th, and Flex in 15th on 9 seconds worth of penalties. But the safety car is going to come in next lap around, one would imagine. Rocco leading the way, Blackbox second, Messina in third. Looking further down the field, though, just in terms of the strategy, everyone has now made at least one stop out on track. Flex and David have made 2 stops down there in 15th and 16th. Looking, though, Petter on a set of mediums, he's got those tyres rubbing in compared to Remender and compared to Jensen ahead. Petter might be the one to watch initially off this get-go from the safety car restart.
Yeah, I mean, the jump on Amenda would be good in itself. I think a jump on Jensen would be heaven for the Ferrari man, but it's going to be so tough with Jensen. He's hardly going to need to weave down a straight. He can do a pure Kimi Räikkönen and just straight line it, because those softs are going to be warmed up already, whereas the mediums, you're probably going to have to weave quite a bit, and then for Messina is going to have to be weaving and probably speeding up like it's the real thing, because those hards are going to be pretty cold since he's put them on from the pit stops.
Spell and Bullboy, by the way, came into the pit lane both on a set of mediums. There's been a little bit of a change with Henne and Flex. I wonder if one of them slowed down enough under the safety car and the others got ahead. I think Henne was down in 13th, Flex was up in 12th, so they've swapped around. And because the game is the game, and you know how it is, Henne is now ahead of Flex, and Flex has lost that position, basically, under the safety car. Basically because of the coding in the game. It's as simple as that. Rocco's though out on top, Blackbox second, Messina in third, Pelly fourth, Jensen in fifth. But the safety car is going to be coming in this lap. Bullboy and Spell, by the way, as I say, both in on a set of mediums. They're going to be going towards the end of the race. What would you have done though? Would you have tried to 4th, 5th position going into the pit lane like Spell and Bullboy have done? Or would you have just risked it a little bit later to go onto a set of softs and be the quickest men out on track?
I think Bullboy's got nothing to lose, and I think that's probably a good pit stop, because you're going to catch up to the pack anyway, and I think he was around P14 before, so he's not losing out too much. And those hards, I mean, obviously they can do about 25 or almost laps, so there's not much point really being on them with 14 laps left. So Bullboy's not got anything to lose. I think he would have been hoping for a safety car, and certainly the soft runners will, because those softs will not make it to the end, that's for sure. As Macho said, I think they can do about 13 laps, I think he said, and he got a puncture, so It's going to be touch and go for Pelly and Jensen.
You would imagine though Rocco's going to get on with this. The safety car is now coming into the pit lane, and now Rocco is the virtual Burt Marlander. He is the safety car now out on track, and they've all got to keep to a consistent pace. And behind him, Blackbox trying to go around the outside line there and towards turn 18. I don't think Rocco now is going to slow it down enough, and I think he's going to power it out the final 2 corners, and he's going to power it around this point now out on track. No, he's still waiting, and this is going to... Still wait. Rocco will eventually go on the exit of the final corner. Now he says go, and he's caught Blackbox napping, and Messina's got a good start behind Pelly on a set of softs right underneath the rear wing of Messina, and back underway here in America. Halfway stage, Rocco leads Blackbox in second. Pelly though dives it down the inside line. Great restart from him. He's already up into third, the quickest man now out on track, and he's now trying to hunt down Blackbox on the run down in towards turn 3 and into the S section for the 15th time. Rocco leads the way. Blackbox in second, Pelly in third. Henne has lost a position to Flex. I think that might have been given up, of course, after that safety car. Both of them swapped positions underneath the safety car. David's right on the back of him as well on a set of mediums, but Rocco has got a great advantage, 0.7 of a second. Blackbox in second, Pelly though in third. No DRS until lap 17, and Pelly's already on the back of Blackbox.
Yeah, Pelly, I think, might have got a warning or two as he's just trying to phase into those softs. As Brock makes a nice move on Pedder, but Pedder's going to try and respond here for P7. Obviously, Brock on a faster tyres, but Pedder doesn't want to lose too much track position and get caught out by Remco's. Just breathing on the back of that Ferrari. He's gone for a dive, almost. Pedder locks up and Remco gets a penalty, but Pedder, I think, just needed to get out of the way there, otherwise it would have been a kamikaze move from Remco, but he gets, I guess, what he deserves there with a penalty.
Oh, and Denzo has not been very patient at all. He's down the inside of Remco as well. Patience is a virtue out on track, and this is what these guys have got to believe in. They've got to believe that they've got to be as clean as possible out on track, because Denzo doesn't want to go for a move and then put Remco maybe into the wall, maybe pick up damage, maybe at the face of the stewards as well. But Rocco leading the way. Black box second. Brock's on the back of Amenda, running down in towards turn 1.
Cowie, I think, has got past Denzo, I think.
Black box and Rocco's over side by side for the race lead, and Black box on the inside line.
Again.
Rocco's on the outside line. Rocco, it's through, and he's into the lead, and he somehow fights that back, and now Pelly's right on the back as well. This race has gone from 0 to 100.
Oh, Pelly just making a move. Can he keep it though?
What a move!
Black box. Black box has got no penalty, so I guess he can stay calm in that cockpit. But I was just seeing the racing points collide, and I think that was Remco who got spun out. It's once again racing points civil war, as seen in Japan. The second race running. I mean, Otmar Safnauer will just be wanting to get out of the USA as fast as possible, because this race for their team has gone absolutely catastrophically wrong.
But the other American team is at the top of the standings at the minute. Rocco and Pelly are 1-2. Jensen dives it on Messina, tries to get the move done in towards turn 12. He's just about alongside. Messina's going to try and shut the door. Jensen, you're never getting through there, my son. Messina in 4th, Jensen stays in 5th. But Jensen has just got to be quite patient. Messina's on a set of hards. He's going to be one of the slowest guys out on track. Jensen has just got to wait until this DRS zone down in towards turn number 1. In fact, I don't think he's going to get the DRS this time around. And Pelly is right on the back of Rocco.
Yeah, Pelly, I mean, if there were team orders and I was Gunther Steiner, I'd let Pelly go through and just let him tow me along. I think Rocco's acknowledged that, and I think Pelly's going to go for it quite late on the brakes, and Rocco's going to shake for a better exit, but he's not going to fight this, and he's just going to sit behind the doctor and let him do all the work.
Yeah, lovely stuff by Pelly. He is through on a fresh set of soft, but can he now break away a second from Rocco? That is going to be the telling factor, because Pelly's tyres now are going to be at the same wear rate as Rocco ahead. As Rocco behind, I should say. Pelly on a set of softs, he'll be around about 16 to 20%, I would say, on that set of softs. Rocco's going to be around that on a set of mediums at this stage. Pelly is then going to transition to be one of the slowest guys as Flex is out of the race, and a VSC deployed, and that's coming out through turn 9, similar to Mads.
It's incredible, all the 4 retirements we've actually had on the track, apart from Jack or Umbra, have all been around. I think 3 of them have been at that corner, like you say, with Mads. It just seems to be a complete death corner. We've seen it with Baku in, I'm not sure what corner it is, just at the end of the second sector, but a bit of an unusual one there. I guess maybe a bit of wheel spin there, and they've just gone completely sideways probably and lost it.
Yeah, Flex saying lol, by the way, in the chat after his crash. I'm assuming he's probably lost it there by himself, but I'm sure he'll confirm that in the chat. Pelly, though, out on top, Rocco in second, Black Box in third. And T-Hawk has made a really good point here. He just has to look after his tyres, does Pelly ahead, and that's literally what I've said. He's going to be around the same wear rate as Rocco behind him. And Rocco is the one that has actually gained the most out of this VSC restock, because he's now within DRS once again. He was 2 seconds off the back of Pelly at one stage there.
Yeah, Pelly's really going to have to nurse these tyres like Mother Teresa. I can't even take myself seriously. But Black Box, I mean, in terms of the penalties, as Belzenar makes a move on David, but they both have penalties. Black Box has to be careful here, because Mazina might phase into the race soon, or later on.
Coey's right on the back of Petter, by the way, was what I was going on with there. P8 and P9, and Coey right on the back of Petter. He tried to actually switch it back coming through 3, but didn't get the move done. But now, overtake mode, 65% of VRS, surely going to be in his favour. Oh, and he's hit the back of him! He's hit the back of Petter, and Petter slowed down enough on the exit through turn 10 And Curry runs into the back of him and has got right side end plate damage. Brock now running side by side with Jensen just ahead on the straight. And now they're going to be closing in quite quickly on Messina. Messina is going to be under pressure. I think Petter's weaving there to maybe say sorry. Brock down the inside line on Jensen. Jensen now on the inside line, running in towards turn number 13. Dives it down the inside. Messina slowing up in behind. There could be a box effect going on here between the three if they're not careful. And Messina holds on to fourth. Brock dives it down the inside line. And has he got fifth? I don't think he has. Jensen's going to have the run on the inside line. But Brock's got fifth.
Nah, dirty. I was just thinking you were talking about Jensen there, because the exact same thing happened with Jensen. He just broke too late and hit Messina, and I was confused if he had damage as Jensen gets a penalty. Completely caught turn one too much on that left side. Do not want to be touching the green Astro part of the curb, and he has. Jensen doesn't have damage, but he did lose the position to O'Brock, and no one's still got past Messina since the safety car restart, apart from Petty, of course.
Yeah, I think Messina, to be honest, is going to be the train out on track soon, because he's on a set of hards, Brock's on a set of softs, and so is Jensen in behind. But Messina's tyres are going to be fresher at this point compared to Brock and Jensen, and that's why Messina, I think, is slowly but surely going to sneak away from Brock. It's 4/10 of a second at the minute. Brock's on a set of softs. He'll look to try and get the move done here. Jensen's playing it nice and easy, though. He's expecting maybe another safety car out on track, and with lap 19 of 28 nearly off the books, Pelly leads the way, Rocco second, Black Box in third. Flex leaving the session. We thank him, though, for attending. Here comes Brock, though, on the back of Messina. He doesn't even have to use up his overtake mode to try and get past. He's on the inside line. Messina is the battle of the late breakers, and Brock gets down the inside, gets the move done. He's into fourth.
Brock really having, I think the first half of the race for him was a bit slow, to be honest. It just couldn't phase into the track possibly as well as he would have liked. But as Jensen makes the move, but Messina's going to get the better exit, but he's just going to have to back out, and Messina's starting to, I guess, maybe become a victim of the impatience of these soft runners, as Jensen has seen the back of that Mercedes of the Petronas sign for probably about 5 laps since the safety car restart.
Yeah, Messina now down into sixth. I think it's purely because he hasn't got the tyres up to temperature yet, and the sun is out on track. Here comes Jensen now on the back of Brock. He's going to absolutely send this around the outside. If I had a better camera angle, I'd actually pay Codemasters. Jensen now down on the inside line, in towards turn 2. She'll get the move done. Brock's going to hang it on in there, though. Down the inside and towards 3. Through 4. Jensen through, and he's into fourth. Great battle between them both. Jensen through, and he's into fourth. Brock is into fifth. Really good move there by Jensen, our champion.
Would never have thought he'd have 2 moves into turn 3 there from Jack and Jensen, the 2 J's. But a bit confused why Carey's not retired from the race.
Remco.
Yeah, but Carey I think left the session, so a bit confusing that. Yeah, the 2 racing points, just their race goes from bad to worse, I guess, and maybe they didn't really have a chance of points. But Brock is now gonna still want to keep on the back of Jensen, just maybe force him into a mistake. He has very slightly more ERS, but we might have a VSC for Remco's cars, just pulling over once again in the first sector, which has been, I guess, Area 51 of this track, if you could call it that.
Yeah, he was just in AI mode, and the AI retires. I think he didn't retire it in his pit box, and that is why the AI then suddenly came out and is retired in the first sector. We normally see that before here in America. Pelly leads the way, Rocco in second, but the interesting thing is, and T-Hawk again has made this, he'll have to nurse those softs so much towards the end of the race. He's on a set of softs, but look at the gap. It's only 7/10 of a second, and Rocco is still there within DRS range to try and get onto the back of Pelly. We are soon going to see the switch over between mediums and softs, and mediums will be the quickest tyre out on track.
Yeah, well, Messina's, I don't know what he's hoping for. He's going to be, I guess, wanting everyone around to just completely capitulate, but in P6 with no penalties, I wouldn't still discount Messina, because he's in that DRS trial. Okay, never mind.
Did he just pick up a penalty there?
Yes. So, I guess O'Brock is, I guess, maybe the favourite to get that P3. Obviously, Jensen with an unexpected penalty. He doesn't get many in this season, as Black Box is very close to Rocco. He's using his ERS, but I think he's given up slightly, unless he wants to shape for a pretty large dive bomb. But Petty's must be getting pretty comfortable in the lead, as Rocco is going to close up to him after that late braking.
Oh, I thought Black Box was going to dive it down the inside there and towards 12. If he ran any further, if he broke slightly later, he would have been into the back of him. It's as simple as that. Pelly leads the way though. Rocco in second, Black Box in third. They've now got Jensen and Brock joining the party, but they're on a set of soft compound tyre. And they're the ones that's now going to be struggling and going back towards Messina. Amenda is not entirely out of this either. Black Box though, on the back of Rocco. Pelly now starting to get away, and I wonder if Rocco just feels a little bit of a threat in behind. We saw Black Box try to lunge it very late. Zero leaves the session. We thank him though for attending. Pelly leads the way. Lap 22 out of 28. 7 laps to go. Just to put it into perspective, we've had one full safety car and 3 VSCs in this race, and Pelly has made a really bad mistake coming out of 1.
Yeah, Rocco's going to be on the back of him. Pelly got less ERS than Rocco, which is hard to believe, but he's pushing quite a bit. Slight bit of understeer as Black Box closes up to Rocco as well. I'm really not sure in terms of on track how the top 3 is going to shape up as Amenda gets a penalty, which is I guess going to put him out of contention of P6 or above.
Black Box and Brock are the only 2 in the top 5 who are now within this DRS train who have not got a penalty out on track. Jensen has, and look at Jensen. He's now right on the back of Black Box, but he's derating down the straight, and you can see he's trying to give everything to try and get the move done here. He absolutely sends it down the inside line. He nearly contacts the back of Rocco. How's he got that car stuck down the inside line though? He's doing it into third. Brock now down the inside line, trying his luck on Black Box. Tries to get the move done. Not quite. I wonder if he's going to wait for 16. He does. He waits to the inside line. Now the AlphaTauri against the Ferrari. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel banging, but Black Box is still in P4, and Jensen somehow threw he's into P3. I don't know how he got that car stopped.
Well, I hate to say it. I might have doubts whether that will be... it will definitely be looked into with the stewards, because he might have got... if he's got a warning there, that is technically an illegal overtake. If the game's not given it to him, I think he might get away from it, but... God, I thought he would have got a warning there and not made the corner and smashed into Rocco, but luckily for
Brock.
Jensen, it's P3. His Black Box is going to try and go down inside, as I think Brock made a mistake into turn 1.
Yeah, Brock overshot the corner in towards turn 1. Messina, Spell and Petter fight further down the field as well. Messina just had a little bit of a mistake coming out there. Spell's through and he's into P9. Brock, though, on the back of Black Box. He's just going to wait his turn in behind. And with a car train of 5 drivers, actually with... 8 drivers now, actually, with Amenda and Denzel now joining onto the back. It could be quite a thrilling finale here on my first race back. Pelly leads the way, Rocco second, Jensen in third. Really hope you've enjoyed the commentary, by the way. Of course, we've got interviews to come after this, but it remains to be seen who's going to come out on top. Jensen trying to chase down Rocco. Rocco trying to chase down Pelly. You can see the red light is flashing on the back of a Haas, running down and towards 12, but Rocco was not close enough, and everyone stays in position for now.
Yeah, Pelly and Rocco, I know a lot of the drivers do go in a party. There's a small chance I have in my head that these 2 might be in a party, so Rocco might, next lap round, if he is all over the back of his fellow teammate, I think he might be urging him to get out of the way and form a blockade of Jensen. But then again, Jensen's tires might also be going off, but then again he's sticking with Rocco fairly nicely, so it'll be interesting to see whose tyres go off first out of Jensen and Pelly, and maybe who gets a puncture first out of Jensen or Pelly.
If they can make 14 laps on a set of softs, they're really trying their luck, to be honest, because I feel that a puncture is going to be inevitable for at least one of those guys out on track. Petter has sped into the pit lane, retires into the pit lane. Quite disappointing from Petter there to retire, but he's out of the session. He's now down out of the race entirely. Pelly leads the way, though. Rocco in second, Jensen in third, Black Box in fourth, Brock in fifth. There's been 7 DNFs, 3 out of mistakes, or 4, I should say, out of mistakes. A couple out of just retiring in the pit lane. Rocco, though, was on the back of Pelly. You can see, if you physically ride on board with Rocco as we are now, you can see the blistering on that rear tyre. That rear right looks like it'll be the tyre to go out on track. Rocco now uses up the ERS to try and close into Pelly, and do you know what? This is my old saying. He's got the job done already. Rocco is down the inside line. Pelly will try and force him across, but Rocco is now through, and he's into the lead of the race. Pelly now has got to play the wingman, but nearly goes into the back of him.
Yeah, Pelly is fighting this more aggressively than I would have thought, and probably more aggressively than Rocco with a light as Denzo's trying to get past Amenda. Is he going to dive it down the inside? He is! He might have overshot it though, but Amenda's going to give him the space. He's going to get the better exit though, so he might get the under and over here, but just the dirty air just washes your car away all the way to the left of the track as Jensen is looking really strong on the back of Pelly, and I think Pelly, his tyres has probably gone off the cliff by this point because he is almost already out of DRS to Rocco.
And here's Jensen down the inside of him as well. Pelly is now dropping all the way down the field into third. Jensen is through, is he? Into second. Yes, he is. Jensen is through. And now Black Box tries to get the over and under through turn 2 in towards turn 3. He's right on the back. Pelly's got 9 seconds worth of penalties, by the way, and is dropping his way down the field. Rocco has got 6 seconds. Jensen has got 3. Black Box, Brock, and Denzo are currently your podium sitters at this stage.
Yeah, Black Box is just all over the back of Pelly, and still Messina. God knows how on the meter on the hards. I think his consistency is astronomical as he's getting close to Black Box. So if Pelly's tyres go off, Messina, believe it or not, on the hards might actually get past Pelly here, only on lap 25. So the softs already starting to go off the cliff. God knows when they'll get a puncture. Could even be on the last lap.
Pelly's on the outside line though, trying to defend. Black Box on the inside, and Messina absolutely sends it down the inside line. Pelly realised very late he was coming, and if he didn't get out of the way, there would have been contact, and Pelly has surely got to come into the pit lane to put on a fresh set of soft. Brock now right on the back of him, switches to the inside line, and she'll get the job done.
Oh no, they clash. Oh, 2 different lines into the corner, and they've got annoyed a bit. I hope it doesn't transpire into anything more. They both... Has Denzo got damage? I really hope not. As Amenda's having a go at Pelly. Pelly's dropping down like a fish through water, or stone through water, as the saying goes. But no, Pelly nearly loses it, and Amenda gets a penalty. Pelly, his tyres are going off more than I would have expected, and Jensen, after seeing that, he's going to be sitting in a cockpit there, as well as Brock, and thinking, well, that might be me that lap or 2.
Pelly has literally dropped off the cliff. His tyres he hasn't managed them at all well out on track, and that was the fear. T-Hawk was saying it in the chat. That was the fear, and that's what's been realised. Pelly is now dropping behind Amenda, could be dropping behind Spell and David possibly towards the end of the race as well, but Rocco leads the way. Jensen in second. Messina now looks like he's got the freshest tyres out on track. He's on a set of hards, and it is quite a good strat to go for. It's 26 out of 28 here. We're not getting a safety car to the end of the race, I can tell you that now. As now, Messina tries to get onto the back of Black Box once again. Again, derating down the straight, but he looks to be right on the back of him down in towards turn 12. Rocco and Jensen, though, looks like it, maybe for the win.
Yeah, it's crazy that the top 8, I've looked at all their ERS, they're all derating down the straights up until you get to Speldenar. So I think also the impatience levels in that top 8 are probably sky high at the moment, as there's been so many overtakes. People probably would like to be 2 to 3 places higher than they actually are. So I think we could see some really rash moves in these last 3 laps, if you count this one, of course.
Well, you never know what we can expect. You never know what can happen here in Formula 1, and Rocco leads the way. 7/10 of a second. Has he got the tyre line over Jensen? Has Jensen got a puncture maybe coming his way towards the end of the race? We'll have to wait and see. Messina on the back of Black Box. Brock is on the back. Brock, I think, to be honest, apart from Jensen, has probably kept his tyres better than Pelly, and he's now obviously got Denzo on the back of him, and Denzo, after that spin earlier on in the race, he's in 6th position. He's doing a great job.
Yeah, Denzo, he's made a brilliant comeback drive. There's been so many comeback drives through the field. Just looking at the positions gained, at the moment it is Jensen making up 17 positions. But in terms of penalties, I
thought Messina was going to lunge at Black Box there. He has picked up another penalty though.
Yeah, that's not ideal to his race. He'll be dropping, I think, maybe even behind Amenda, who's managed to do really well to stay on his DRS train, as is often the case throughout the whole of the season. So I won't discount any of these top 7, apart from, I guess, maybe the soft runners of Brock or Jensen, who definitely could get a puncture. And
definitely those that have got 3-second time penalties at least as well. Rocco leads the way. Jensen's in second. Black Box, sorry, in third. Messina in fourth. Brock in fifth. I'm losing my words towards the end here.
Brock is, completely. I think it's now Brock's turn for his tyres to go off the cliff, and then Jensen will now going into the last lap. I don't know that I should check the penalty situation given I haven't the whole race, but yeah, Jensen. Oh, it is still in Black Box's favour, and Brock still might get a chance of getting even P. No, I think he's looking at P3, which you have to remember, Black Box and Brock have never got a podium in FRL. Obviously, Brock returning to FRL for a very long time after his disappearance, and Black Box after a P4, missing out on the podium by 31 thousandths, might actually be able to get the top spot this time.
If my maths is correct, I think Brock and Denzo are actually on the podium in second and third at this stage. Because I've just checked the interval, and it's 4.4 seconds the gap to Rocco. He's got a 6-second penalty, so has Jensen's got 3.
Oh,
Messina dives in on Black Box, final lap of the race, and this is going to get quite spicy running down in towards turn number 12. Black Box now running right on the back of Messina, and Messina now to the outside line. He is going to be the best of the late breakers, maybe on the outside line. Black Box, he switches, no. Messina dives it down the inside line. He cannot get that car stopped, and Black Box has secured P3, and that might just secure Denzo and Brock potentially onto the podium as well. And we see now in towards the final couple of corners. Jensen, by the way, has got the fastest lap of the race at this stage. Brock's right on the back of Denzo, but he's not quite close enough for the Mender.
Oh, it's a rash move, given he's got a penalty, but Rocco has done. He's going to try and win out on track with. No, he gets another penalty, so Amanda might even be just grasping on the podiums. So Rocco going to come across the line. Who's he going to be? It's Black Box and Messina.
Denzo, Brock, I think. It's Jensen second.
Denzo, I mean, that was so late. Messina must have been, his heart just missed a beat or two there, just in the podium positions for a second or two. But Brock, 8 thousandths, or 8 tenths I should say, sorry, off a podium. Black Box getting the win on penalties. It doesn't matter how you do it, it just matters that you win.
It does, and Black Box has won. Ferrari, of course, with one driver finishing the race, scoring ahead of Alfa Romeo in the constructors' standings as well. So I think we go to next week, if I'm not mistaken. Ballboy, though, is coming out through the final corner. Looks like he's going to be setting the fastest lap out of everyone. Comes across the line, and it's a 1:32.2 from Ballboy, and sets the fastest lap of the race, and may get an extra point, of course, for that. But 12th position for Ballboy in the end. The in-game fan voted driver of the day, Jensen, 19th up to first. Second, sorry.
Ooh, I think he would have liked if it was first, but it might have even been 20th on the grid. But yeah, Zero joins again. He will be not very glad that his constructors team has not wrapped up the championship, and it will go on to Mexico, where we've seen obviously Hamilton wrap up the Drivers' Championship a few times. So it is a track which is known for having a few thrills and spills. But I don't know, I'm not sure who I'd give driver of the day to. Probably Black Box, who's just had an all-round very calm and collected drive when it's been absolute chaos ensuing around him.
Oh, I get a 10 out of 10 for my commentary, which is fantastic stuff. It has been a pleasure to bring you the action. Of course, we've got the interviews to come. Black Box, though, has won. First position in the race and in qualifying as well. Jensen, 19th on the grid up to second, unlucky with the 3-second penalty. Denzel in third, Brock in fourth, Messina in fifth, Rocco sixth, Amanda 7th, Pelly 8th, Spell in 9th, and David running off the top 10. Those are your point scorers. Hene in 11th, Bullboy in 12th, Cowie didn't finish under his own accord, he won't pick up any points anyways in 13th, Petter, Remco, Flex, Mad, Umbra, Robin and Zero all out of the race, all DNFing at various points. Zero didn't even get through the first lap, and never mind through the first sector. Black Box, though, has won. Jensen a second. Shall we get all of the guys in? We'll have to transition to another party, though, won't we?
Yes, I am one step ahead of you on a PS menu. Trying to go to interviews. I'm not sure what T-Walt's given me my commentary. I hope it's not below 2 figures, but I mean 2 digits. We'll see. Unless I will have to slander him as a co-commentator.
No, we'll have to wait and see, obviously. We have got Mexico, as you say, next week. And Mexico, one of those tracks where it is both 800 metres above sea level. It's going to be fascinating. 4.3 kilometres in length around that circuit. Plenty of opportunities for overtaking. Constructors battle for second. What's not to miss?
Ooh, I'm not sure. Jensen celebrating in a Discord. I might have missed something here. They have, because it's 29 points they needed over Ferrari, but you have to remember, that's one less round they have Ferrari to make up the difference, and obviously the max you can score is 44, which does mean by 15 points, if my maths is correct, Alfa Romeo do wrap up the constructors, and it'd be nice to have Zero in the party after DNFing as fast as Mazepin did in Bahrain.
That's terrible. Don't give the Finn any justice there whatsoever. I'm sure he will be back to his brilliant best, of course, next week. And of course, we are waiting for the guys to come into the party. And hopefully we're going to be interviewing all of our guys. What we're going to do in terms of the interviews this week is I'm going to take P1, Bunty's going to take P2, I'm going to take P3, he's going to take P4. Got it? I hope so.
Yeah. And I'm going to join the interviews.
Fantastic, I will see you there. Let's transition over then into the party and we'll get the interviews underway. And I'm going to transition over, and here we go. We're just about to go back into the new party, and there we are. We're back. Just waiting for everyone now to join the party for the interviews, and we are going to be getting our reactions, of course, for the first three, the top three first, and then we'll see, of course, how everything else unfolds out on track. But I am just going to flick back to the results so I make sure who I'm interviewing correctly. Black Box is first up on my list. I'm just going to check if he is in the party. I don't think he is at the minute. Oh, he has literally just joined. Black Box has just joined then the party. The man who has finished out on P1. And you'd be thinking, yes, I'm not Bunty whatsoever. But talk us through your race. If he's there. I hope he is.
Too busy celebrating, I see.
You guys looking for Black Box?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello, Black Box. P1 out on track. P1 in qualifying. Talk us through your race.
It was a brilliant race. Obviously, the lap was perfect for me. I'd done a little bit of practice, and then I got a perfect lap. So it was great. And then I had quite a bad start actually. Rocco got me, and then safety car came out at the wrong time, but it was fine. Kept P2, and then it was kind of under control from there. I knew Jensen was going to struggle towards the end because of his tyres, and yeah, I mean, I fulfilled the expectations that came when I came into the league a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, only you transitioned for a couple of weeks ago as well with you being in the league, but a P1 around here in America must fill you with a great sense of, well, joy. Yeah, for me it's America's a good track because I know that everyone else is going to struggle with penalties, and my speciality really is to not get penalties, and that's why I was so frustrated last week with Japan, because I actually did get one. But for me it's the penalty side of things. I keep that under control, and it worked out. It did. Yeah, it did work out in the end. That was very strange. I've never had that in my commentary interviews before. Goodness me. Anyways, the final question I'm going to ask you, of course, Mexico next week. How do you think you're going to get on?
I recently had a league race there. Didn't do too well because unfortunately got a drive-through penalty under virtual safety car, like what happened to I'm not sure who was in front of me. I think it was like Denzel or something like that. I can't remember who it was in front of me. He got a drive-through for speeding on the virtual safety car. That happened to me in that race, and unfortunately I finished at P6. So, but my pace was pretty good. It was all good. I finished ahead of Jensen in qualifying in that league, so it was okay.
Yeah, it sounds very good. Go and enjoy your evening, though.
Cool.
And we'll now move on to the man who finished in P2, Jensen, and Bunty is going to conduct your interview.
Oh well, Jensen, you've wrapped up the Constructors' Championship. I mean, it could have been coming. Obviously, in USA, you did have a sizable lead over Ferrari, but what's your initial reaction of wrapping up the Constructors with 0 for Alfa Romeo?
Oh yeah, enjoyed that, especially well satisfying coming from the back of the grid as well. Of course, P19 to P2 is a really good result. A little bit lucky with the safety car, giving me the soft compound tyre, but a bit unlucky as well because the tyres were absolutely off the cliff. But I mean, I managed to keep it up there, and yeah, I made some pretty tasty moves there as well. I think one or two may have been aggressive, but I wasn't going to sit behind anyone there. I tried to get the move on as quick as I can. So yeah, in the end, I made a few little mistakes as well, like millimeters off track, and I picking up warning, which was unfortunate. But I mean, Black Box really deserved that win today. The pole lap was incredible, and the race pace, even without, like, with or without the safety car, he would have won, in my opinion. So truly deserved that. But I'll take the P2 anyway, and the constructors is big, of course.
And just looking out for Romeo, 16 podiums this season, so it's been very consistent between the two of you throughout the whole season. But we'll see, going to your race, you were just making your way through the grid very nicely. Do you feel you learned maybe from Japan, where you were obviously you had a poor start with your TV and then had to make up your way up the grid? Do you feel you maybe learned from that race and use that to your advantage this one, where obviously you were doing a last to first challenge?
Well, I mean, USA is plenty more overtaking. Places Japan is pretty tricky. I think there's really only 2 or 3 places at Japan that I would take a risk or go for a move at. But yeah, there was plenty of opportunities here and there, and you could work out any way, outside, inside, wherever. It was just good quality racing anyway. So yeah, I'll take that. Nah. And I consider it's not my best track, USA. It's not really my. It's one of my weak tracks comparing to others, but I'll take that anyway.
Yeah, and obviously in Japan you did say it was not one of your favourites and got a P2, very strong one. But do you feel maybe you're quite thankful you went on the softs rather than maybe the mediums or hards, because you did initially have the pace to get yourself into that P2 spot, which obviously if you didn't have the penalty you would have won the race. So are you pleased with Jeff, I guess, coming clutch and selecting the softs for you?
Well, I would have felt a little bit like less happy if I finished P1 on track, but of course Rocco did that. He drove pretty well as well. Both Haas drivers did a good job. But yeah, in the end, you just have to manage, stay consistent, I guess. So yeah.
And into Mexico, obviously the first race you ever did on wheel, picking up many penalties, was in the McLaren around Mexico. So do you think you've improved since then, and are you aiming for maybe a bit more than you did last time round?
Well, last season I picked up a drive-through off a jump start, but I didn't pick up a single warning afterwards. So I mean, it depends on the day really. Like, some days you can only pick up like a warning or nothing, and some days I pick up quite a few penalties around Mexico, so it depends how that is. So I mean, Tuesdays are always my good days, so yeah.
Good to hear, and also well done for wrapping up not only the drivers but the Constructors' Championship.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you, James and Bunty, commentating. As always.
Very welcome. And we'll move on to the man who finished in P3, who I don't think's in the party. It's Denzo. Denzo, are you here?
He's never here.
He's never here. Brock, are you here?
No.
I feel like I'm going down a school register at this point. Messina is here. I can see Messina is here. The man who finished in P5, of course, out on track. Very unlucky with the penalties. Talk us through your race.
I'd rather not, thanks.
He is like that.
Well, in that case, then, does that count as an interview? Do I have to now hand over to Bunty again? just looking down.
Boy next, I think.
No, it's Rocco next, actually.
Oh, so sorry, I actually forgot Rocco. Sorry.
Wow, thank you, mate.
Sorry.
Rocco,
Wait, is
then.
it me? Sorry.
Yeah, go on.
Oh no. Oh, okay. I went to be Rocco. Fair enough. Well, Rocco in quali, you qualified in where was it? It was
Three.
P3, and it was pretty close in terms of let me see. You're 3/10 off, obviously the pole lap, but you were 400ths off Denzo, and it did seem in the early stages that you might be in contention for pole, but just obviously Black Box, when he turned the wick up, you didn't seem to be able to respond. In terms of quali, do you feel you possibly could have got anything out of it, or maybe weren't committed enough because of the nature of the track being very corner cutting orientated?
Yeah, I did an alright job. I mean, I've just turned AVS off, so I'm still trying to practice that.
Ah.
So I'm a few tenths down, but yeah, it wasn't a bad lap. But yeah, it's still middle sector I struggled, so if I put that together I could have got P2, but the lap from Black Box was clear. He was on fire there.
And obviously you did concede the lead to, I think it was Denzo and Black Box at the start. Was that just purely, I guess maybe you wanted to possibly drop into P2 in the DRS, but maybe got caught out by Black Box as well, or was it just getting swarmed by the drivers behind and not managing really to, I guess, use your ERS all effectively?
Yeah, it was the racing point behind hit me. So I had to go off like really wide to take the Rosberg line or whatever. But yeah, I managed to keep P3, but it lost me like a second, which didn't help. But yeah, I was happy to stay in DRS once the VSC came in, I think it was. But penalties, I was just all over the place, struggling.
Obviously, you racked up 6 seconds of penalty to your name, but you must have had quite a shock when the safety car came out and you were down in P10 around at the time with Black Box pitting as well. Did you think maybe you would get caught out and the likes of Messina, Jensen, Pelly would be able to, just by pitting under that safety car, get ahead of you and compromise your strategy entirely?
I think it was quite well timed, to be honest, for me, but because I didn't think the softs were going to make it. Jensen had some mad tyre wear to keep me going, because I know Pelly was in the party and he was struggling on tyre wear. But yeah, Jensen managed to make it work. But yeah, I thought we were going to have to go hard to the end, or make 2 stops and go hard, then medium straight away. But yeah, safety car was alright for me. But I just won on track, but I got loads of pens.
Yeah, obviously, I guess regressing that penalty, because you would have been a couple places up and obviously no penalties at all and you would have won. But what was your kind of strategy? Because once you got into the lead after Pelly's tyres dropped off the cliff, did you think maybe Jensen's would do the same and you could have pulled out DRS and pulled out maybe a big enough gap to get ahead of the likes of Denzo and Brock and Messina?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at the time. I thought I'd overtook Pelly at the right time and then I'll be able to get clear, but Jensen managed to keep some pace in those softs somehow. I thought they'd definitely gone, but you know, that's why he won the title.
Well, obviously P6 not the best, but in terms of moving on to Mexico, you do seem to respond well sometimes to game maybe slightly lackluster performances, like in Austria against Jensen where you did win. So is there a chance we could see you in Mexico on the top step of the podium, or do you think you'll be ruling Mexico out completely for maybe a podium entirely?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to rule this one out. It's one of my worst tracks, I think, on the calendar. So we'll see. I'm alright at Brazil, so give me a few weeks and hopefully I'll be right there.
Good to hear. Well, best of luck in Mexico, and hopefully you get some good luck there and maybe be on the podium or even better, get the win.
Yep, cheers boys. Thanks for commentating, you and James.
Very welcome indeed. I'm expecting a relentless performance from Rocco next week. He cannot get away from my puns, honestly.
At least I did alright in F2 yesterday.
Yeah, you did do all right in F2 yesterday. Of course, it was
Still my
LOE
teammate
F2. I
took
was
me out.
commentating on him. But I will now move on to the next man who is on my list, and it's Ballboy, finishing down in P12 in the Mercedes. Talk us through your race.
Well, it was pretty much like the story of the season, just battling at the back, but I was hoping for a later safety car than what actually happened, because my only chance of scoring points were if people pick penalties and had crashes, and that did happen, but it was only like up to P13 or P12 I was, so yeah, in the end I tried to gamble on the softs for fastest lap, and yeah, I got it by about 7-8 tenths, so yeah, 1 point, so could have been worse, I suppose.
Yeah, 1 point's better than none at the end of the day, and that's what you've got to factor in. But just talk us through those VSCs and those safety cars that came out on the track. Did that affect you in any way whatsoever?
No, not really. I mean, I did like a two-stop under the safety car to get rid of the hards, because the mediums could go a long way in the race, so which put me at the back. But no, not really. Like, I saved fuel and I didn't really lose any time. Even with the safety car in my strategy, I lost like 2 positions, but I think I would have lost those anyway on track, so it didn't really make much of a difference.
It didn't at the end of the day, and obviously you're just two positions outside of the points. Going into Mexico next week, how do you think you're going to get on? Are you going to get in within the points?
Well, once again, it just depends if others crash and get penalties, and if I don't, then who knows? I'm really gambling on a late safety car, because my pace isn't there in the top 10, so yeah, I'll just have to hope I get lucky or get a late fastest lap again.
I'm expecting more from the three-time FRL champion.
Yeah, when there were like 5 drivers racing every single event, but no, we'll see what happens. Honestly, like every race, I'd be happy with the points, so I'm happy today.
Very happy today, and that concludes Ballboy's interview. I believe we've got one more. We've got Zero to go through. Bunty, it's over to you.
Well, Zero, talk us through, if you are here in a party, your initial feelings after probably quite contrasted feelings after crashing very early in the first sector, and then actually managing to wrap up the constructors for Alfa Romeo. How do you feel at the moment?
Of course, I'm happy with the constructors, but just my own mistake pretty much made the job for Jensen a bit harder than it should have been.
Yeah, and obviously not much to comment on in terms of the race, but did you feel your pace in USA was promising enough to be around that chaotic area of that kind of P1 to P7 zone of positions?
Yeah, definitely. I could have maybe been at that fight, but not maybe as fast as Jensen or Messina or those guys ahead, because me being me, making dumb mistakes would have been probably the most penalties out of the entire field anyway, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, very disappointed in terms of that, but at the start of the season, I said this when obviously Jensen wraps up the drive. Did you think how confident were you at the very start of the season, maybe in pre-season? Were you confident you'd wrap up the constructors for Alfa Romeo, or did you not really think this would happen and other teams, possibly like Ferrari, would challenge you a lot more than they did?
I mean, I knew that me and Jensen would gel well together in this teammate deal, but when I saw like the initial teams, I was thinking that we could have a chance at the constructors if we are lucky enough, but then of course people left and pretty much gave us the free avenue to score a lot of points and take the constructors with 3 races to spare.
And if I'm not mistaken, which I usually am, is this your first championship of any kind in FRL?
Yes.
That's a good debut around USA. Maybe you'll like it more. Were you looking forward to USA? And how would you rate Mexico compared to how you were feeling for USA. Do you think you'll be more confident in Mexico than USA, if that makes sense?
I was more confident in USA than I am usually in Mexico. Mexico has always been the one track that I don't really enjoy driving around just because of the nature of the second sector of it. But we have to wait and see. Hopefully not get too many penalties and we get a lot of safety cars.
And just a quick last question, do you think you'll be doing any last to first challenges or anything in particular for the last 3 races?
I don't know, we'll have to wait and see.
Ah, very nice. Back over to James, I think a couple of people have joined the party.
Yeah, we've got Amanda who finished in P7 out on track in the McLaren. The Spaniard, of course, laying up with the likes of Rocco, with the likes of Messina towards the top end of the field. Amanda, are you here? And second of all, how was your race?
Yeah, I'm here. Well, it was kind of fun, like always in the USA. It was a big group at the front. I don't have the pace to overtake, but to stay there. Yeah, it was quite fun, the race.
Yeah, it was really fun. You were involved in quite a lot of battles as well, and towards the top end of the field, you were when the VSCs came out. Did that affect you in any way whatsoever out on track?
Well, I was, how to say, the safety car for me was horrible. I think it appeared 1 lap after my pit stop. Everyone with the mediums were pitted for softs and get out in front of me. So I was a little bit disappointed because I think I was P3, P4 more or less, and then after that I was P7. So I think I was a little bit unlucky with those BSC because for the soft tires, the BSC was better because they don't get that much stress.
Yeah, and in terms of the tyre life as well towards the end of the race, were you ever feeling like you might get towards puncture territory? Cause I know you were on a set of mediums, but were you feeling towards the end of the race the tyres were beginning to go?
I don't think so. I think the pace of the ones with the softs were going to get down as well as my mediums. At the two laps, I have no tires. No, obviously the rear ones were gone. I could stay with Denso and I think it was O'Brook. I think, but I couldn't make any good move because I couldn't get away from the corners well, and I was a little bit surprised because of the soft runners because the pace didn't get that much. They didn't lose that much time. That's that I expected.
And final question before we move on to the final man for the interviews. Mexico next week, how do you think you're going to get on?
Well, I like that track. I expect not getting penalties in there. As well as I expected to don't get any in this race, and I get 2. I got 2. So I hope for a clean race for me. Yeah, maybe again a top 7, top 5 to be in the point will be good.
Well, Mexico is an absolute penalty haven, so I wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank you very much.
You are very welcome indeed. And I believe Flex, the sheep, is the final man to go on board with. And Bunty, luckily you get this one.
Well, hopefully you're there. If you are there.
I think he is. I don't know.
Well, I'll start the interview anyway, and hopefully he's there. You qualified P9 in qualifying, and it was looking once again like a very promising weekend for you. But like in Japan, where you showed some solid pace, but you did also stick it up there in P7 for the first couple of laps, and then had a couple of incidents and obviously picked up damage. But Out of wonder, was that maybe a tactical pit stop, or was that because of damage maybe with your teammate early on, like a lap 7? If you're there.
Tactical. My English is so shit.
Okay. Well.
Sorry, Bunty.
Nah, it's fine. Well, you caused a VSE on lap 17, so you can simply answer yes or no. Were you happy you caused that VSE?
No.
Okay. Well, in terms of Inter Mexico, are you looking forward to it? You can simply answer yes or no.
Mexico. If I take one penalty, okay, you can send me in the episode. Why is my English so good?
Okay, good job.
Oh god.
Bunty. Oh my.
Oh god. I think with that we'll move on
Learn
to
the English, man.
I think with that we'll move on to Pelly, and Pelly of course finishing in P8 behind Amanda out on track. First of all, are you there? And second of all, how was your race?
Hello. Yeah, it was surprising a good race. I didn't expect to lead the race for like 10 laps, but it was a shame. Like my front tires were graining a lot, so like my at the end my fronts were like 80+%, and my rears are only like 60. So I was struggling with understeer like the last couple of 6 laps, I think. So yeah, I think that ruined my race, because otherwise, like I could also I think a lot of penalties because of the understeer. So I think without that, maybe I lost like a good chance of getting better positions. And yeah, it is what it is. But I'm still happy with the race.
Yeah, you went on a set of soft compounded tyres, of course, after the safety car came out. Were you always feeling confident enough to try and get towards the top end, which you did, and you led, of course, for 10 laps? But could you not get away with Rocco because of the tyres?
I was trying to get, I was confident I would be, getting past them because I was on softs. But, yeah, I think I didn't have a lot of airways to spend, so couldn't get away. And plus, I think, after a few laps with tires, like my fronts were already, graining a lot, so I was already starting to get more understeer. So, yeah. I think without that, maybe I would have gone outside of the top, outside of the DRS. I think the DRS helped them just to stay with me every time. They gains just time on me on the straights. So I think if I didn't have the issue on the fronts, maybe I would have gone outside of the DRS from Rocco, and then I could have maybe just pushed more, and then maybe getting the time on the people, because I already had a penalty at the time. So yeah, but yeah, I can change it now, so I'm still happy with the race. Still good points. So.
Yeah, P8 of course out on track, 4 points picked up, 11th on the grid as well, so you've actually gained 3 positions as a result, which is quite good. Looking ahead to Mexico though next week, do you feel like you're going to be in the points this time around?
No.
It is possible, but Mexico is not a nice track for me. I don't really like to drive it, and plus I never done well. The penalties are gonna be killing for me, I guess. But we will see. I think back end of the top 10 I can P8 is possible maybe.
Yeah, P8 should be possible indeed. We'll have to wait and see how that unfolds, of course, out on track next week. I believe, if nobody joins the party now, the interviews are now completed from everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining for your interviews, and well done, of course, to the top 3 of Black Box, Jensen and Denzo out on track. Any student investigations, of course, get them into the Discord, get them sent in. They will be investigated. Anything will be investigated here, and I'm sure it is going to be fantastic as we look ahead to Mexico round 20 of the championship next week. Bunty, I am going to come across to you, though. Your final thoughts on what has been a great race in America?
I mean, the battle just for the podium places was actually probably for once, maybe the first time in a whole season, probably better than a midfield scrap. But yeah, it's great to see having 7 drivers up there fighting for not only podium spots but actually for the win. So yeah, brilliant race from everyone, and I'd say it's fairly clean, cleaner than a fair few of our other races. So yeah, it was good.
I hope it's not this. I hope this is not a one-off, by the way, and we carry on with the standards going through. And I hope that you didn't do it just for tonight because I was here. But there we are. It has been an absolute pleasure to bring you the action, of course, here in America, in the United States. Of course, we go to Mexico next week. Same place, same time. We've got FRL F2, of course, alongside Ballboy and Jack taking to the action, of course, on Monday, 7 PM. Don't miss it. It's normally 7 PM. Might run a few minutes behind schedule. And then, of course, FRL F1, it's myself and Bunty once again taking you through the action next week on the FRL channel in Mexico City in Mexico. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves in this crazy world we all live in. I've been James Head. He's been ILR Bunty. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Bye, my